on satellite, on Freeview, on cable, on radio, on mobile, on the web and around the world. This is First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7.
Making headlines first at 9. Proving good governance. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe ready to appear before Bond Commission. Supporting northern agriculture. President Maithripala Sirisena says he will focus on uplifting farmer community. Unitary or united? Opposition leader Sambandhan says he will support both President and Prime Minister in the making of a new constitution. Green light given. Deputy Minister Ajit Pereira says Cabinet approves measures to stop delay in judicial system. Making international headline. Austria elections. Conservative Party leader Sebastian Kurz leads the opinion polls. Bringing you news from home and across the world. You're watching First at 9 on Other Derana 24/7. Good evening, I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to our top story tonight. The Prime Minister's office says Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is ready to appear and clarify matters before the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate and inquire into the issuance of Treasury bonds if required. Now, issuing a statement today, the Premier said that the Prime Minister's name was mentioned during sittings of the Commission and therefore, where needed, clarifications could be made. The statement adds that a majority cast their vote on the 8th of January to re-establish good governance and democracy, and thereby the government is committed to support investigations when allegations are made against the government and its officials. The Premier's office went on to say that the government has at previous occasions taken necessary measures to conduct investigations into allegations levelled against the government and state employees. In a special episode to the President and Prime Minister, chief prelates of all three Buddhist sectors called for a proper solution on the Syrian issue that is acceptable to all parties. Chief prelates point out in their letter that a delay in providing a solution will only bring more harm to the country. The epistle has been signed by the chief prelates of Asgiri and Malwata chapters of the Siam sector, as well as the chief prelates of the Amarapura and Ramanya sectors. They emphasize that the ongoing Syrian issue affects the public just as much as the health and medical education sectors of the country. They added that they are sending the epistle as per the request of State Medical Faculty Students Parents Association as well as the Syrian Medical Faculty Parents Forum. The chief prelates also said a sustainable solution with which every party involved in the issue can agree must be introduced with the intervention of the President and Prime Minister. Meanwhile, members of the Medical Faculty Students Parents Association of the Kandy district met with the chief prelate of the Ramanya sector, Most Venerable Napana PMs to discuss the matter. They later met with the chief incumbent of the Gatambe Rajopavanarama temple, Venerable Kapitiya Goda Sirivimala Thera.
ප්‍රශ්නයක් විසඳගන්න බැරි නම් ආම්දුරනේ අනෙක් ලොකු ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්නේ කොහොමද මේ පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න විසඳන්නත් ආණ්ඩුවට නොහැකියාව තියෙනවා ආණ්ඩුවට හැකියාව තිබුණාට ආණ්ඩුව කරන්නේ මේවා දිග්ගස්සගස්ස ඉන්නයි මේගොල්ලන්ට උන් ප්‍රශ්න වැඩි කරගත්ත තරමට මේගොල්ලන්ගේ පාලනය ලේසි දැන් හැබැයි දිගොල්ලම එකතු වෙච්ච එක ලොකු දෙයක් කෙනයි මෙතන ඉන්නේ ඔව් මේ ආණ්ඩුව කරන්නේ ඔව් දැන් කොත්තුමාගේ බලේ වරයා යන ඒක එහෙනම් මේ රටේ
Convening a media briefing in Colombo, the Medical Faculty Students Parents Association said the government should immediately focus on the request of the chief prelates.
අපි කියනවා රටේ නායකයාට ඔබතුමත් අහුම්කම් දීලා ගරු කරන්න මේ නායක ස්වාමින් වහන්සේලාට අගමැතිතුමාට අපි සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යවරයාටත් ඒ වගේම කිරියල්ල අමාත්‍යතුමාටත් කියනවා ඒ මහානායක හිමිවරුන් ඉල්ලීමට අහුම්කම් දෙන්න හිතුවක්කාර විදියට ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ නැතුව මේ සයිටම් ආයතනය අහෝසි කළා වෛද්‍ය අධ්‍යාපනය විධිමත් කිරීමට අවශ්‍ය පියවර ගන්න කියලා අපි මේ අවස්ථාවේ ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that a special program will be implemented focusing on the welfare of the farmer community in the northern province. He made the remark at an event held in Kilinochchi yesterday. The Kilinochchi Economic Centre was vested with the public yesterday in a ceremony held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. The President also engaged in an observation tour within the centre, which was built at a cost of 101 million rupees.
අපි ලංකාවේ අනිත් පළාත් වලට වගේම උතුරු ප්‍රදේශයටත් සංවර්ධනය සඳහා අවුරුදු පතා විශාල මුදලක් වෙන් කරනවා. නමුත් මට පේන දෙයක් තිබෙනවා විශේෂයෙන් මේ මුදල් හරියට වැය වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක. සමහර වෙලාවට මුදල් ආපහු යනවා. නමුත් අපි මේ ගැන සොයලා බලලා වැඩපිළිවෙලක අවශ්‍යතාවය මම දකිනවා.
After the event, a group of relatives of missing persons met with the President to hand over a letter. The President agreed to their request of a meeting with him to be held as soon as possible.
හරි මම ඉක්මනින්ම ඔයාලට දන්නවනවා ඔයාලට එන්න මම බස් එකකුත් දෙන්නම්. ඒක මම තනියම
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa alleges that the current good governance regime is practicing two different laws for the south and the north. The former president made these remarks today while he visited his son and Hambantota district MP Nama Rajapaksa and several others who had been remanded following the protest march in Tangol last week.
අපේ තරුණ මන්ත්‍රීවරු සහ ඒ වගේම වයසක අම්මලා පොඩි දරු පටව් රිමාන්ඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා. සම්පත් විකුණනට විරුද්ධව පෙළපාලි ගිහිල්ලා විරෝධය පාලා. මොනවද මේ කියේ? ගුණන් හදන්නේ වරායි ගුවන්තොට. ඉතින් මේ මහජනයාට අයිතියක් තියෙනවා. මේකට විරුද්ධව නැගී හිටින්න. මේක ජේ.ආර්.ගේ කාලේ ප්‍රේමදාසගේ කාලේ ඔය මහා ඔය කියන කාලවලදීවත් මෙහෙම මන්ත්‍රීවරු මේවට විරෝධව පෙළපාතුවා කියලා අත්අඩංගුවට අරගත්තේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒ කට්ටිය අද රිමාන්ඩ් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒට රඩුව තියෙනවා. මං හිතන්නේ සාධාරණයක් වෙයි කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ ගුවන්තොට වල කිව්වම ස්පේස් එක මාස් මේකම පාලනය කරන්නේ ගුවන්තොට වලින් අවසානයේ. ඉතින් ඒක ලොකු ගැටලුවක් වෙනවා අනාගතයේදී. ඒ පොළොවේ විතර නෙවෙයි ආසත් දීලා මේ ආණ්ඩුව.
මේ අද වෙනකොට උතුරේ අධිකරණ නියෝග කඩකරමින් විරෝධතාව පවත්වනවා. අනිත් දකුණේ අත්තරමුඩ ගන්න පුළුවන්.
නෑ උතුරේ අයට නීතියක් නෑනේ. උතුරේ නීතිය උතුරට ඕන විදියට. මෙයාලා ඡන්ද ගන්න බලාගෙන ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න ඉඩ දීලා එයාට නිදහස දීලා තියෙනවා. මේකට තමයි නිදහස නැත්තේ. මේවා නිදන්නේ සහගාන අපරාධ. මේකේ ඉන්නවා මුස්ලිම් ළමයි 6 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඉස්කෝලේ යන ළමයි 3 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. සමහර අම්මා කෙනෙක් මේ ළමයෙකුට කෑම අරගෙන එනකොට අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන. මේ වගේ තමයි සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. සමහරව වැඩට ගිහිල්ලා ගමේ යන්න එනකොට ළමයවත් අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන වන් කළා. ඉතින් මේක තමයි තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ.
Meanwhile, opposition leader R. Sambandhan assures his support to the President and Prime Minister in their journey towards a new constitution. He expressed this at an event held at the Temple Trees today.
The National Deepavali Festival was celebrated at the Temple Trees under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Opposition leader R. Sambandhan also spoke at the occasion.
It was 2 years that have been spent. Some say it is too short, some say that we have discussed too long on this issue. But I think for the first time we've come to grips on it. We've looked at the nature of the state, we've looked at the fundamental rights, how do we respect cultures, how do we allow maximum devolution without a break of the country. This is the political foundation on which the culture, the religious and the diversity is built up. Now we are moving closer than at any other time. We have to now use this coming year to try and conclude these discussions and come to a final arrangement on the diversity, on the tolerance and the right to safeguard our own cultures that we want. We put the war behind us, that we bring reconciliation forward, especially next year when we commemorate 70 years of independence.
நீண்ட காலமாக நமது நாடு இருளுக்குள் இருந்திருக்கின்றது.
தற்பொழுது இந்த நாட்டில் ஒரு ஆட்சி மாற்றம் ஏற்பட்ட பிறகு இந்த நாடு இருளிலிருந்து வெளிச்சத்துக்கு வருகின்றது. நாட்டிற்கு முன்னால் ஒரு பயணம் இருக்கின்றது. இந்த நாட்டில் வாழ்கின்ற மக்கள் எல்லோரும் ஒற்றுமையாக, சமாதானமாக, சமத்துவமாக வாழ வேண்டும் என்பது அந்த பயணம். அவர்கள் வெவ்வேறு கட்சிகளை சார்ந்தவர்கள். ஆனால் இன்றைக்கு ஒன்றாக சேர்ந்து இந்த நாட்டை ஒரு புது பாதையில் எடுத்துச் செல்வதற்காக ஒற்றுமையாக வந்திருக்கின்றார்கள். அந்த பயணத்தில் வெற்றி காணுவதற்காக ஒரு புதிய அரசியல் அமைப்பை உருவாக்குவதற்கு முயற்சி நடைபெற்று வருகின்றது. அந்த முயற்சியிலும் அவர்கள் வெற்றி காண வேண்டும். ஒருமித்த நாட்டுக்குள் எல்லோரும் சமத்துவமாக வாழக்கூடிய வகையில் அந்த அரசியல் சாஸ்திரம் உருவாக்கப்பட வேண்டும் என்று நாங்கள் எல்லோரும் விரும்புகின்றோம். மாண்புமிகு ஜனாதிபதி அவர்களுக்கும் மாண்புமிகு பிரதமர் அவர்களுக்கும் நான் திட்ட தெளிவாக கூறிக்கொள்ள விரும்புகின்றேன். அந்த பயணத்தில் 100% உங்களுக்கு நாங்கள் ஆதரவு நல்குவோம். அதை பற்றி சந்தேகம் கொள்ள வேண்டிய அவசியமில்லை.
Minister of Public Enterprise Development Kabi Hashim alleges that during the previous regime, members of a commission of inquiry would have run the risk of abduction had they summoned any minister to appear before them. Referring to his appearance before the commission of inquiry into bond issuances, the minister highlighted the contrasting nature of the previous and current governments at a function held in Nikapitiya yesterday.
කොමිසමක්කේම තියලා ඇමතිවරයෙක්ව ඒ කාලේ කැඳවලා තිබ්බනම් සුදුවෑන් වල තමයි කොමිසනේ මිනිසුන්ට ප්‍රධානින්ට යන්න සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ ඒ කාලේ. මාධ්‍යකරුවෙකුට ඒවා ලියන්න දුන්නේ නැහැ. මරා දැම්ම. දැන් අද බලන්න මේක තමයි ඇත්ත වෙනස. මට කෝල් එකක් එනවා ජනාධිපති කොමිසමට සාක්ෂියක් දෙන්න එන්න කියලා. මම ගියා ඒ කොමිසමට. මම ඉල්ලුවේ නැහැ මේක කල් දාන්න කියලා. මේක අපිට එන්න බෑ අපි ඇමතිවරු. ඇමතිවරයෙකු වුවත් පක්ෂ මහලේකම්වරයෙකු වුවත් මට එන්න කිව්වා මගේ සාක්ෂිය දෙන්න. මගේ පක්ෂේ සභාපතිවරයා මලික් සමරවික්‍රම ඇමතුමා මාත් එක්ක ගියා. එක නීතිඥවරයෙක් අපි එක්කන් ගියේ නැහැ. අපි ඇත්ත කියන්න ගියේ. කොමිසම මේක නෙවෙයිද යහපාලනය.
State Minister of Labour and Trade Union Relations Ravindra Samaraveera says that it is only Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe who resorts to working towards fulfilling the promises of good governance and not anybody else. He made the remark at the meeting of the UMP Action Committee of the Violu electorate in Badulla, which was held yesterday. The UMP Action Committee meeting of the Violu electorate was held at Nimas Siripadi Silva's postal complex yesterday.
අපි එදා අපේ නායකයා මේ රටේ විධායකයට ගෙනත් තිබුණා නම් ඔබ චමින්දට බයින් එක ඔබ රවින්ද්‍ර ඇමරිකාට බයින් එක අපේ හරින් ප්‍රාන්ත ඇමතුමාට බයින් එක සාදා. අපි හදාගත්තා අපිට ඔබට සේවය කරන්න ඔබ අප වෙනුවෙන් කැප කරයි කියන මේ රටේ විධායකයා. තා කනගාටුවෙන් කියන්නේ අපි දන්නවා අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉන්න නිසා අපි ගැන නම් බලන්න. දුන්න යහපාලන පොරොන්දුව ඉස්ස සිද්ධ කරන්නේ කවුද? රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ කියන අපේ අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමා කියන කාරණේ මම හිතා නොබියවව කියනවා.
Later on, the Provincial Council Minister of Agriculture and Irrigation Upali Samaraveera expressed views regarding an alleged incident of pepper import, levelling allegations at media and UNP supporters.
ආණ්ඩුව විවේචනය කළා ජනතාව අතර අප්‍රසාදයට පත් වෙන බඳ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නේ. කොහොම හොයාගත්තත් දන්නේ නැහැ මේ ඇමතිවරයෙක් පිටරටින් ගම්බිරිස් ගෙන්නුවා කියන කතාව. අපේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂව පක්ෂ කරන වැඩක් ගැන කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. මොකෙන් හරි ප්‍රවෘත්තියක් දුන්නා කියලා අල්ලගෙන රට පුරා කියලා කියෝක යනවා. ඔන්න ගම්බිරිස් ගෙනාවා කියලා. මම දන්නේ නැහැ කවුරු ගම්බිරිස් ගෙනාවා.
The Provincial Council Minister then had to conclude his speech abruptly due to the opposition raised by party supporters.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
Welcome back to the news. Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira says the President and the Cabinet of Ministers gave the green light for the report prepared by the Sectoral Oversight Committee on Legal Affairs and Media to minimize delays in serious criminal cases. The Deputy Minister made this remark addressing a public rally in Bandaragama.
මෙරටේ අධිකරණවල ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය ඉතාම දුර්වලයි. මිනිමැරීමක් සිද්ධ වුණොත්, ස්ත්‍රී දූෂණයක් සිද්ධ වුණොත්, මිනිමැරීමට තත්කිරීමක් සිද්ධ වුණොත්, ළමාපචාරයක් සිද්ධ වුණොත්, සිද්ධියේ ඉඳලා හයි කෝට් එකේ නඩුව අහලා ඉවර කරන්න අවුරුදු 10යි මාස 2යි සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. ඊට පස්සේ අභියාචනා දෙකක් තියෙනවා. මේ අභියාචනා දෙක විභාග කරන අවුරුදු 7ක් යනවා. බරපතල අපරාධයක් සම්බන්ධව විනිශ්චයක් කරලා අවසානාත්මකතාවයක් ලබා ගන්න අවුරුදු 17ක් යනවා. මෙරටේ අධිකරණ ක්‍රමය වෙනස් කරන්න කැමති වෙච්ච නැති අධිකරණ ඇමතිවරයව ගෙදර යවලා මෙරටේ අධිකරණය වෙනස් කරන්න ඕන ක්‍රමය මම සමාජිකත්වයේ දරන පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ නෛතික කටයුතු හා දූෂණ විරෝධී ආංශික අධීක්ෂණ කාර්ක සභාව හරහා ඉදිරිපත් කරලා ඒ වාර්තාව මාස 6ක් තුල මෙරටේ ක්‍රියාත්මක කරලා බරපතල අපරාධ නඩු විභාග කිරීමේ පවතින ප්‍රමාද ඉවත් කිරීම සඳහා වූ ක්‍රියාවලියකට ගිය සතියේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා අවසර දුන්නා, කැබිනට්ටුව අවසර දුන්නා, කැබිනට් අනුකමිටුවක් පවත් කළා, කැබිනට් අනුකමිටුව අවසර දුන්නා. දැන් තියෙන්නේ ගරු අධිකරණ ඇමතිතුමියට කළමනාකරණ ක්‍රියාවලිය ශක්තිමත් කරලා නීතියේ ප්‍රමාදය අවම කිරීමට අවශ්‍ය පියවර ගන්න.
The OPEC Fund for International Development has agreed to provide an additional loan of $18 million to finance the completion of the Kaluganga development project due to a shortfall of funds made available through existing donors. The Kaluganga development project is currently being implemented by the Ministry of Mahavali Development and Environment with the financial assistance of Saudi Fund for Development, Kuwait Fund for Arab Economic Development and OPEC Fund for International Development. The Kaluganga reservoir, which has a capacity of 265 million cubic meters of water, is expected to divert 100 million cubic meters annually to Moragahakanda reservoir through this project. At the Colombo Boost this week, the ASPI recorded a gain for the fifth consecutive week, increasing 1.6%. While the S&P SL 20 recorded a gain of 3.1%, the highest weekly gain since the first week of April. Foreigners remained active for the week, with foreign purchases accounting for 43.8% of the total weekly turnover. Now, for a detailed picture of how the markets will perform during the week, we have Dimantha Matthew from First Capital with our weekly forecast.
The bourse saw a significant buying interest during the previous week with strong bullish trend. We expect the investors to continue to be bullish and thereby the bullish sentiment to prevail in the overall market. Banking and finance sector is likely to continue its dominance with strong valuations of key counters. We expect strong buying interest to improve in the blue chip counters, which has been lagging behind over the past week. Further strong tea prices and expected jump in earnings is likely to keep the plantation sector counters also interested. We expect local and foreign buying interest activity to be strong in the market and continue this week as well.
The prevailing inclement weather shows no signs of abating, with the districts of Colombo, Gaul, Matra and Ratnapuri districts experiencing heavy rainfall over the course of 24 hours. Now, landslide warnings have also been issued to 6 districts, with Nuwara district labelled as a high-risk zone.
Heavy rains were experienced in Colombo, Gaul, Kandy, Ratnapura, Anuradhapura, Batticaloa, Jaffna, Nuwara, Mannar and Trincomalee districts today as well. Spill gates of several reservoirs across the island were opened owing to heavy rains. Spill gates of the Vimala Surendra reservoir were opened last evening along with the Canyon and Upper Kotmale reservoirs. Engineers warned that if heavy rains continue, measures will be taken to open the spill gates of the Lakshapana reservoir, urging residents living in close proximity to the reservoir to remain vigilant. The heavy downpour led to the opening of 2 spill gates of the Kukuleganga Dam belonging to the Kukuleganga Power Station, inundating Molkava, Paragoda and Bulat Singhala located along the Kuda River. Meanwhile, the Department of Irrigation warns that several rivers may breach their banks, citing Attanagaluoya in Doonamale, Ging River in Baddegama, Kalu River in Ratnapura and Millakanda, and Nilwala River in Panadugama. The Ging River breached its bank in Baddegama in the Gaul district, inundating the area. The Department of Irrigation assured that water levels of the Kalani River remain at safe levels. Meanwhile, water levels of Kalu River continue to rise, affecting low-lying areas of Kiriyalla and Ingiriya in Ratnapura district. Paragoda and Molkava in Bulat Sinhala were flooded owing to rising water levels of Kuda River in Kalutara. The Baduraliya Kalawana main road and Baduraliya Hedigalla roads still remain inundated. The Disaster Management Centre said that landslide warnings have been issued to Nuwara, Kegol, Kalutara, Gaul, Matara and Ratnapura districts. A landslide occurred in Kudagama, Hatton, damaging a residence in the area. Meanwhile, residents of a house in Kudamaskelia in Maskelia were requested to evacuate when a landslide occurred in the vicinity. A house located at Gaminipura in Hatton was damaged owing to a landslide which occurred opposite the premises today. Meanwhile, houses which were damaged when a helicopter landed in Dunbar Stadium in Hatton during the Indian Premier's visit in May were also affected by the inclement weather. Landslides in several areas along roads in Hatton hampered day-to-day travel today as well. Nuwara district was named as a high-risk zone for landslides due to the prevalent weather. 12 families in Samanalagama, Hatton were evacuated owing to the risk of landslides.
Let's take a look at other stories making news across Sri Lanka.
The Department of Census and Statistics says the country's industrial production increased by 4.8% in August compared with the same month last year. The overall index for the manufacturing sector stood at 108.6 in August, for which the production of apparel, leather and metals were the highest contributed. Public health inspectors raided several food outlets yesterday in the Galen Bidunwava area in Anuradhapura over the sale of food items unsuitable for consumption. The inspectors took measures to shut down a food outlet that was discovered selling unhygienic food, while cases were filed against 3 other food outlets for the sale of low-quality food. 2 Sri Lankans bound to Dubai were nabbed by airport security while attempting to smuggle 15 kilograms of wallapatta and 157 mobile phones valued at 2.78 million rupees. The 2 suspects, aged 39 and 41, were caught at the BIA departure terminal this morning.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
Austria opened polls today for a snap general election following the breakdown of country's government coalition last May. The election marks a 3-way race between the Conservative People's Party, the right-wing Freedom Party and Social Democrats. Conservative Party leader and current Foreign Minister Sebastian Kurz is the current frontrunner, and if he wins, he will be the youngest leader in the European Union.
Foreign Minister Sebastian Kurz, who is just 31 years old, propelled his Conservative People's Party to the top of opinion polls with his leadership in May. He has pledged to shut down migrant routes to Europe, cap benefit payments to refugees at a low level and block other foreigners from receiving benefits until they have lived in Austria for 5 years. Opinion polls show the Conservative People's Party in the lead, with the far-right Freedom Party and the Social Democrats competing for second place. International media report that the Freedom Party has its best chance in years of joining the next coalition government.
At least 230 people have been killed while dozens were wounded in a massive truck bomb attack outside a hotel in Somalia's capital, Mogadishu. Yesterday's blast in central K5 junction, which is lined with government offices, hotels and restaurants, destroyed several buildings and set dozens of vehicles on fire. The explosion was reportedly followed by a gun battle between security forces and armed men around and inside the popular Safari Hotel. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news across the world.
40 people have died and hundreds are still missing in California after a week of wildfires that have destroyed thousands of homes and devastated prime wine country. More than 100,000 people have been displaced and entire neighborhoods have been reduced to ash. More than 10,000 firefighters are battling 16 major wildfires which have consumed nearly 214,000 acres. Hurricane Ophelia strengthened as it barreled towards Ireland, where it will bring strong winds and heavy rains this week. The Category 3 hurricane sustains winds of 185 km per hour. Amid the last battle to liberate the Syrian city of Raqqa from so-called Islamic State, the final batch of IS fighters have reportedly evacuated from the city, taking civilians with them as human shields. There were conflicting accounts of whether the evacuees included both Syrian and foreign IS fighters, and it was unclear how many jihadists remained to mount a last stand in the city.
You are watching Sri Lanka's trusted news brand, Derana 24/7.
The Queen's Baton of Commonwealth Games 2018, which reached Sri Lanka on the 12th of this month, marked its last day in the island yesterday. The baton was taken to Malaysia, the next destination in its journey across the Commonwealth nations.
After the baton was brought to Sri Lanka, it was exhibited at various locations, including in Colombo and Galle, to draw the attention of sports fans on the Commonwealth Games 2018. Meanwhile, the Queen's baton was brought to the Independence Square from the Australian High Commission to mark the closing ceremony. The 21st Commonwealth Games is set to begin on the 4th of April in Gold Coast, Australia.
And in tennis, Roger Federer brushed aside world number 1 Rafael Nadal 6-4, 6-3 to win the Shanghai Masters today, registering his 4th victory of the year over his Spanish rival. Incidentally, this is Federer's 6th title of the year.
36-year-old Roger Federer, the only man who can still stop Rafael Nadal ending the year as number 1, was again in imperious form and never looked likely to lose. There was little between the rivals in the early exchanges of the second set until the pivotal 5th game. Nadal saved the first break point but could not survive the second as Federer surged to the Shanghai Masters crown in 72 minutes.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
Let's now cross over to Southern Upeka at the Derana Weather Centre with your forecast for the next 24 hours.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre. Starting off with your temperatures tonight, we can expect temperatures to vary between 20 and 31 degrees Celsius. If we take a look at the map, we can expect the low pressure zone in the southwestern part of the island to gradually decrease over the course of the next 24 hours. We can also expect thunder showers in Trincomalee and Mannar, while wet weather is expected to prevail over Colombo, Galle, Mathura and Kandy. That's it from tonight's Weather Centre. Up next is your city-by-city forecast.
And before we go, we'd like to take you to Beijing, the capital city of China, which attracts tourists from across the world with its rich collection of magnificent landmarks and ancient architecture. The Tiananmen Square of the Hall of Imperial Longevity, the Temple of Heaven and the Forbidden City are among Beijing's renowned attractions. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.